Oh, sorry, I moved. Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Yes, it's definitely. Have I moved?
No.
Oh, am I holding?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me what the question was going to be. Okay. Hi, my name's Mitch Phillips. I'm the sports editor at Reuters, covering Europe, Middle East and Africa. I've been at Reuters since 1997. I'm also the rugby correspondent. Covered every Rugby World Cup since 1995 and generally cover England as well. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Georgia. Actually, going into 2003 World Cup, we didn't know much about them, and we knew they were going to be England's first opponent, so we did a few pieces then. Then I was in Perth for their first ever World Cup game against England, when England had a big win, but Georgia did their usual, gave them a good game up front, and that was the first the world really knew about them, and the LELOS, as we found out they were to be called. And I've always had a kind of a liking for them, and I really hope they kick on and become a strong side. As far as Georgian players go, my all-time favourite is probably Mamuka Gogotsa. Just loved his attitude. He played all over the pitch, fantastic strength and power, and kind of like most Georgians, wore his heart on his sleeve. Great player. Like around the world, everybody sees them as a team immensely proud of their strength. You know, their scrum and their set piece and their forwards have always been their strength. They pride themselves on that. Everyone's seen that conveyor belt of front row talent in particular. UK fans haven't seen that much of them. We've only played them twice in the World Cups before this weekend, but we've seen a fair number of them playing in the French league, and we know they're big, strong guys. What we don't know so much is what else they've got, and that's the next step for them to kind of move on from just being big, grizzled, tough, proud front rowers. You need a bit more than that these days. All the tier 2 teams have said the key thing is to get regular matches against stronger opposition. And this is the first time they've had a run of, other than the World Cup, a run of 4 games in a row against teams. Absolutely invaluable for them. Their expectations, as you say, they're not expecting to beat England at Twickenham. They weren't embarrassed there by any means. You know, they stood up very strongly. Absolutely essential that they get these games and learn from them. And I think Georgia, you'll see in 3 or 4 weeks, will be a much stronger side than you saw yesterday, and certainly in their first game against Scotland. Just the consistency of not just the opposition, but playing together 3 or 4 weeks in a row, which is also unusual for them. Gives the coaches time for them to get together, gets the combinations time to work together. It's the same for the tier 1 teams. They all develop over a period, but for a team like Georgia, who so rarely get the chance to bring all their players together, absolutely invaluable. This is probably the most important month of their rugby history, actually. It's definitely the question that comes up routinely, and especially with Italy struggling so much. They haven't won a game in Six Nations for 5 years, but every now and then they play Georgia and beat them. So there is definitely a push for some kind of movement, whether it will be an automatic promotion relegation, or maybe a playoff, or a more structured second division or something. World Rugby constantly talking about spreading the game, and Georgia and those kind of next level. I mean, they're ranked 12th in the world. You know, if that was football, they'd be one of the strongest teams in the world, but they're considered a long way down. So to get those kind of teams competitive, yes, they need to have some kind of system where they're not just, waiting for an invitation, and whether it be an automatic promotion or relegation, this month is important for that. If they can hold their own, lose narrowly, grab a draw, sneak a win or something like that, then it helps their case. They don't need to come and win, they don't need to come and beat Scotland to get a qualification, but if World Rugby and the bigger unions are true to their word of trying to spread the game, then they've got to give these tier 2 nations a process to play regularly, and if that's a promotion relegation or a second division system, then something needs to be put in place for sure. Yeah.
Thank you, that's it.
All done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
Thank you very much.
I hope I didn't move around.